It's a Tuesday morning. My name is Richie B.
You know that this is your boy Shells.
Good morning, Bridge Nation. It's the girl, Queen JoJo.
Yours truly, DJ Live here in the building.
All right. It's time for WTF.
What the fact? All right, here I want to know. Elvis Presley's manager sold I Hate Elvis badges. Yeah, well, that makes sense. Why manager do that, right? Well, here we go on. Colonel Tom Parker was Elvis Presley's manager for nearly 2 decades. Many credit him as the mastermind behind Presley's massive commercial success. In 1956, Parker signed a merchandising deal to turn Elvis into a brand name, and by the end of the year, merchandise sales had brought in $22 million. Because he got a 25% profit share, Parker was always finding new ways to get fans to spend. He even decided to market to Presley's haters. So he came up with the idea to sell badges that read, I hate Elvis, or Elvis is a jerk, or Elvis the jerk, or that's jerk in New York accent. Sorry for my New Yorkers out there if I butchered that one. But yeah, smart. So big up Colonel.
No.
Big up yourself, Colonel Parker.
Let me tell you this. I thought I'd heard it all.
Yeah.
But this one takes the cake.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. The man said, I know some people out there don't like Elvis.
Yeah, because...
So we're going to put out some buttons or something like that?
Yeah, man. Just anything, any badges. Yeah.
I hate Elvis.
Yeah.
And the more they're selling is the more Elvis and himself are making money.
Exactly.
Yo.
Exactly.
We need some more of this kind of brother in our world.
That
right now,
makes
man.
sense.
Believe you me. What's his name?
Colonel Tom Parker.
Colonel Tom Parker. No, sir. I mean, in the world of the entertainers, any news is good news, so they like to embrace even the negative.
Yeah, no such thing as bad publicity.
Exactly. But right now, this man designed a way to make money off of all of that.
That's interesting.
I
like that.
I wonder what the sales were like and how much it contributed to the bottom line.
Trust me, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of Elvis haters.
Yeah.
So him can even go under disguise and be like, I'm an Elvis hater too, with the bag of thing, and people sell out that, man. I like it.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
I think if I were doing artist management, I'd want to be looking at something like this.
Yeah. Appeal to both sides.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that.
All right. That's an interesting fact. The kinds that you hear at this time every morning. And, of course, that was...
WTF. What the fact?
Time for update. Got a few stories for you. Jody has one.
Yes, I do, Richie. All right, so Coffee give her mom her flowers after making acting debut. Coffee took some time out of her busy schedule to show some support to her biggest fan, her mom, Joan Williams. The Grammy Award winner artist ensured she didn't miss her mother's acting debut in the short film Raw Material, even though she had to do so virtually. This screening was held at the Palace Cineplex in Sovereign Center in Jamaica, and Coffee said that it was amazing getting the opportunity to see her mother on the big screen. Everybody knows that Joanne is a big actress, big actress.
Yeah.
So it's nice to know that even though Coffee was not in Jamaica, she still made the effort to make sure that she saw her mom, on screen. And kudos to Miss Williams. I hope she gets some more acting debut here and abroad too, because I feel like so when you have the link, Joanne, you hold on the link and then you run out. I can get a Shirley Ralph kind of vibe, don't you?
Congratulations to Cheryl.
Yes, man.
She won her Emmy last evening, and we're going to talk more about that later on this morning too. We'll even hear her speak.
Yes,
her acceptance speech.
Yes, that was. I woke up like probably 11:30 p.m. and I saw it, and I made sure to post her and tag her and say yes, miss. Because I think it's important, especially for older women, to see that it's not over unless you say it's over.
Still possible.
So,
Once you have the breath of life. She sang, she cried, she was emotional, she was happy, all of that all in one. Listen, Cheryl, big ups, Shirley Ralph.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm a fan of when artists, dancehall artists, any type of artists, reach to a level when them start mids other, like branching out into other areas. So, for make the little money and push the brand, you know what I mean? So I want to big up Idonia right now as he launches his own cannabis strain called Banga Kush, which makes sense. Banga, makes sense. Now, Idonia has formally entered into the legal cannabis business. The dancehall DJ has long been associated with one of Jamaica's favorite herbs. After all, in many of his videos, Idonia can be seen smoking spliffs and never really shy away from promoting the benefits of the plant. Now he's been given the opportunity to bring his own flair to a strain of cannabis, which is called, very fittingly as I said, Banger Kush. Now, the launch of the new strain was held earlier this week at Epicon Medicinals at Marketplace on Constant Spring Road in St. Andrew, for which he is a brand ambassador. The Vibe artist explained that, he had a vested interest in introducing the new strain of cannabis. He shared that it has always been a part of his life, and so once he was given the opportunity by the company, he pounced on it, which makes sense. He said once the chance came about, we being a part of the Epicon brand, that was just the focus to put something out there where we know with we name attached to it and just the quality like what Epicon produces. Having my own strain was always a goal and a dream. And he has been a brand ambassador for Epicon for the last 4 years. Nice. And it just seemed like a match made in heaven for both parties. So big up Dainia. Banga Kush.
Oh, you make the strain. Oh, you get that like
There's
a different strain because I'm curious.
There's a science to it.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of persons from the Rastafari community, them not really too like the when you're crossing a strain and the science behind it. But it's a popular thing right now.
Banga Kush,
Nobody here has tried it, no?
Just boss Richie, man.
It just
unless
they're gonna put it in a tea bag.
I can find Dainia, Anybody wants to
ask Dainia how you gonna do it. Most can find different ways.
A Banga Kush tea.
Yeah, Banga Kush tea, some oil, some like oil, not just the herb itself.
The oil,
Yeah. I think you look into that. Beauty product.
Call me, make me talk.
Big up yourself, Dainia.
Big up. Can think of one person in this business that would take a whole truckload right now.
Who that?
You want to call him for real?
Afterwards, we talk.
Is that real man met?
Oh
boy. Chris Brown and Green Sleeves have reached a settlement in Red Rat's song lawsuit.
Okay.
Yeah. So the song is not lawsuit. It's a song lawsuit.
Yes.
All right. Tight Up Skirt is the song, by the way. And Chris Brown has settled the lawsuit brought by Green Sleeves Publishing. The R&B singer's lawyer filed a motion on Wednesday, September 7, to stay the case as the parties reached a final settlement. Chris Brown, along with his company, Chris Brown TV and Sony Music Entertainment, was sued last year, if you recall, by Green Sleeves, which owns the masters for the Red Rat track Tight Up Skirt. And they had brought this case against Chris Brown and his connections. According to Greensleeves Publishing, Brown had copied key parts of Red Rat's 1997 hit, including lyrics from the hook and the song's melody, and used it in his 2017 single Privacy. I remember that well. The parties, however, applied to the court for a stay in proceedings as they negotiated a settlement. In a September 7 letter sent to Judge Robert Lerberga of the United States District Court, Southern District of New York, Chris Brown's lawyer James Samory-I said that Chris Brown, whose full name is Christopher Maurice Brown, and his company Chris Brown TV, said that the parties had come to a settlement. Here's what they said. We write with the permission of Daniel Aaron, counsel, plaintiff, Greensleeves Publishing Limited, and Jonathan King, counsel for the co-defendant, Sony Music Entertainment. We write to advise, Your Honor, that the parties have reached a settlement in principle which fully, I think they meant in principle, which fully resolves the matter. And the sum that they were being sued for was $1.5 million in damages. What we do not know is how much of that amount formed the settlement. It would be good if it was 1.5 million. What we don't also know is whether or to what extent Red Rat will benefit from this.
True.
Not being the owner of the master himself. And I remember we tried to reach out to him when this case had come out, and he said he's not able to speak at the time. But he also put out a statement saying that Greensleeves cannot speak for him in the matter. So I suspect, any way you take it, all of those parties, Greensleeves and Red Rat, will or should benefit from this settlement. Yeah.
Of course. And with Chris Brown, I charge fans $1,000
VIP. I'm sure that was factored into what they were settling for.
Everything good, man.
Everything good round this.
Yeah. All right. So that's update.
Yes, sir.
Time for the proverb of the day. That will be followed by the pet peeve of the morning.
That's right, Richie. So our proverb of the day. Man no dead, no call them dopey.
Hmm?
Man no dead, no call them dopey.
Alright, so.
Agree.
Alright, so if man not dead, that mean clearly him alive. So why you call him dopey for?
Insulting, isn't it?
Right. So that. Alright, what I get from this is like don't count out somebody. And I said I don't know if I right chat with them, but like yeah, don't put certain labels on people. Counting them out when them still in the fight, in the race or something like that.
See
I don't
there?
know.
Not
Yeah.
bad. Me tell them, so Shells got good schooling and think I like myself. So the meaning, don't underestimate people.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
what it mean.
Yeah.
Man not dead, no call them
dopey.
dopey. And I saying my mother always says to me is when not dead, no dash it away. We know
Yeah.
the one day when not dead, no
I
dash
heard
it
that
away.
one.
So
yeah.
Pity the porter didn't. The porter who works at a hospital didn't hear this
catch
because
on this.
this guy was terminally ill, and it is said that the porter was actually taking him to the morgue at the hospital. And the man looked up at him and said, But porter, me no dead.
Yeah.
Porter looked on the man and said, Doctor, say you're dead. You're damn well and dead.
Jeez.
That is cold.
Wow.
That is cold.
Wow.
We need to send this to that porter.
That porter.
Yeah.
Make him
If we can-
honest.
if
If
we
we
can
can't
find
find-
him.
Wow. You can,
Oh,
it would even
gosh.
react scared to
You know what I
the
mean?
doctor said that they're dead.
Yes, I do my job, you know me. Just I do my job.
I do my job.
Oh boy. But after the fun, man not dead, not call them dopey.
Yes.
Don't underestimate people.
No.
Time now for the pet peeve.
That's right. So our pet peeve is like a touch and go this morning, but we here now. So pet peeve are things that others do that you might find annoying, irritating, or even upsetting. And today somebody have an interesting pet peeve to share with us.
All right.
People, man, especially man, them in your inbox and them a send you message or look somebody. I don't like it, especially on Facebook. At one point I had to delete Messenger. Now this woman in my inbox, I look woman, like if she hear say me why and then things say. Both man and woman, but men mostly.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
let's
had
go on
that.
this one.
I have that problem.
That
on
in a
Facebook.
while ago. Oh, she said go on a while ago.
So she's saying that she's annoyed, especially on Facebook, that
Yeah.
there are women who
Get
Well,
your
initially it was
Yeah.
men.
and
and
then
still
she
men.
have, I have
And then
women
recently
that
now she said women start.
do it. Yeah,
Um,
I've had really young girls in my inbox, and I'm
Really?
like, sweetie, no, go away.
As in
Beware,
in your
shake.
inbox.
I mean, just like, hi, Jojo.
Yeah.
No,
You know,
like
I-
I've
Yeah,
been
slide in
watching
a DM.
You're wearing there.
slide in a DM, attractive young women, I might add. I'm not gonna even, and I'm like, I don't know what me give off, but no,
What kind of
mama.
world are we living
No,
in?
so what? No. Let me get this. The
Okay,
the
no,
want to
no.
be friends. They want to be friends.
The friends?
Yeah,
Like
just,
how
you know, hi
males want to be my
Jojo.
friend.
You know, can
Just
I be your
like how
friend?
males
Eh?
jump into my inbox and
Eh?
want to be my friend, that's exactly how they want to be my
Really?
friend. Yes.
Okay.
Same way, sir.
And this happens with some degree of regularity.
Me block them, because I can't take the stress. Next thing I'm going to tell life for me, because system me work.
So, yeah, tell me, sir, argument, them have enough argument.
Enough. I think they're better than the men, if I'm honest. If I'm honest,
Hold on there.
they are
Hold on.
way better.
Bridge Nation,
They,
I wanna-
they get you off guard, because they're like, hi, and you say, oh, maybe the queen, I just,
Yeah.
have a look at music or
Yeah.
something. And then you see say it, you say, hola.
Bridge Nation.
What?
That one you need crowd.
You say,
Okay.
what?
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, live and I
A
learn.
little different, but I
Alrighty then.
understand, and it's actually a friend of mine that sent out because we're realizing that it's
More and more it's happening.
Yes, it's
getting quite
happening more.
Yeah,
prevalent.
man.
Yes,
No, man.
so-
Social media is a scary place for women.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enough things
Don't
women go
behave
through,
this.
yeah.
So-
and especially in the DMs. So.
So my thing isn't social media. No, Bridge Nation. Don't get me wrong. No, I'm not condoning anything.
Here we go.
But isn't social media
Nope.
now the platform to?
It's not
you
a
know,
dating app.
I mean, to.
It's not
to
a
meet
dating
people
app.
like that?
Communicate?
Yes, it's to communicate, but it's
Right.
not a dating app. If it was, no, I
Okay.
say, all right, cool.
Okay.
Everybody will shoot them shot on
Yeah.
the dating app,
Okay.
but it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Alright.
some people
I get
meet
it.
there. I prefer to meet a male.
I get it.
So,
But yeah.
Not your cup of tea, I
No,
guess.
I agree with the
no.
listener,
I
though.
didn't realize, though. I
I
mean,
agree with the listener.
you live and I learn, man.
Man with woman. Stop look at a woman.
True.
It don't look good, man. They make it harder for the youth them out there who not a woman. And actually just genuinely are going at DM, so they say hello.
We don't trust them.
But they say just calm, bad.
Well, that's interesting. The takeaway is that the women have more argument than
Yeah,
the
man.
men.
No, man. Women are bigger jealous for we, man.
Women
Long time. Women are bigger jealous for we. Long time. We're not even gonna fight that.
Mood.
Nah,
People
fight
them out
that.
there, may I tell you, man.
Yeah.
All right. Now, yesterday, commuters and students were left stranded after bus and taxi, at least some taxi operators, withdrew their services. There were reports that some roads were blocked with debris and burning tires, and that commuters who live in areas such as Stony Hill and Lawrence Tavern were unable to get to work or to school, and taxi operators in Halfway Tree, Wynwood Road areas, and downtown also withdrew their services. According to Mr. Egerton Newman, president of the Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services, TODSS, the protest action is a direct result of building frustration on the part of bus and taxi operators with the draconian activities of the police force as well as the Transport Authority. Now, Mr. Newman shared that he had a marathon meeting with them last Sunday night and begged them not to take strike action. Well, the bus and taxi operators are now calling for a traffic ticket amnesty and are threatening to continue their protest all week, which obviously will impact commuters and their ability to move around. We're joined this morning by Mr. Egerton Newman to speak on this issue. Good morning, Mr. Newman.
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
I am doing well, Egerton. How about yourself?
I'm blessed. A little stressed, but I'm blessed.
Okay.
All right, sir.
I tell you this, you're really not the only one stressed right now. And you understand why I'd say that. But,
Yes,
but,
yes.
but what is the mood of the bus and taxi operators this morning as we speak?
Well, reports coming in that there might be a few operators who decide to continue their strike action this morning. Nothing official, but unofficial. There are a few persons who decided not to work this morning. But on a whole, several operators are back to work since yesterday afternoon. Taxi and bus operators are back to work since yesterday. And we anticipate a good day today, but a few persons might stay off the job. I hope they will resume shortly because I have advised them through their leadership, their group leadership, that we'll be having a meeting with the Minister of Transport this morning at 10, and therefore we're hoping that after the meeting with the Transport Authority yesterday, a meeting today again with the Transport Authority, police, and the Minister, called by the Minister, I think things can return to normal. But it must be noted, Richie, that these operators are frustrated to the very wits. It's a long time that we have been discussing many issues, and it comes to bong last Tuesday when the buses were taken away, the second official day of school, while I was saying to them, don't demonstrate in St. Thomas on the first day of school. And the police on the second day were taking away the vehicles, not only in Halfway Tree, but in Spanish Town for various reasons. And we thought that this was the last straw. And although we have a marathon meeting with them, although we begged them with my hands on my head, begged them not to strike, they took strike action. Understandable that they are frustrated to the wit's end. And so that is the problem. We didn't know that the days are still here where you wrecked a vehicle for having on a tint. I'm not saying a dark tint. For a tint, you wreck the vehicle, take it to your place, and it costs operators up to $30,000 to have that vehicle, to pay for that vehicle, pay the record for that vehicle.
And also to remove the tint, I would imagine then, eh?
And then to remove the tint is another thing. And for those whose plates were taken off, you have to pay to get the plates replaced. So, there's a number of things. I mean, we beg the government for years now, we've been asking for amnesty because you have a new traffic act. Why you want to throw the new wine into the old bottle, right? And I think there's a serious rift between the police and the public transport sector, bus and taxi operators. Something is not right somewhere. And persons have been saying it seems as if you're in a police state. This is how the transport sector is working in a police state. I mean, killings right across the island, left, right, and center. But the hundreds of police go to Halfway Tree this morning to see how much hundreds of police are there. But what? the focus is on the taxi man who might stop at the wrong place.
Let me go back to something you said earlier, because you did indicate that there are some operators who might still be off the job this morning. Can you be more specific and identify some of the routes that will be affected by those taxi operators and their action?
The unproved report I received this morning that operators on the Stony Hill route, so the only area called, is on strike action. I have members out there, and they have not reported that to me since morning, and so I cannot say it is so. But there wouldn't be any other area at this time apart from that area, that Stone Hill, Laverne area. The only area that was on strike yesterday. A few of the men might return on strike today, but majority of them have advised me that because of the meeting scheduled with the minister today, they are returning to work. And they have a fruitful meeting yesterday with the Transport Authority. That meeting did note clearly that if there's some answer has not been given to their discussion by Thursday, then they will return on a massive strike come Monday morning. So we really expect all operators to be back to work this morning. Okay. But there are those who believe, and what they're calling for now is an amnesty, and I think that would be the reason for their being on strike this morning. But you can't get an amnesty while you're on strike. You have to settle down. You have to communicate in the right way in order to get that amnesty. We have to write a letter to Minister of Transport, Minister of Justice, and the Minister of National Security. The three have to approve it before they can grant us an amnesty.
Now, speaking of the amnesty, Mr. Newman, do you believe the government will actually heed to this request?
Well, they have heeded the two requests made by TODSS before, and we have received amnesty. I think if the government is thinking seriously, they should give an amnesty because, well, if they have any interest in the public transport sector, because most of our operators, our drivers are now underground. They're gone. They're driving different vehicles. They rake up these amount of tickets and they're off. So the owners, the investors are suffering. They cannot find a driver. And so that we use any and anybody who continues to create mayhem. If the government have any interest in the sector, they would grant that amnesty. They have nothing to lose. They will collect. The last time they were given an amnesty, the government collected $900 million from the amnesty.
Now,
the operators are willing to pay, but I mean, how much? Organize a way that we can pay the money in small tranches, and you collect. No, you're not collecting.
Mr. Newman, members of the public are in fact asking why is it that so many taxi operators would have waited until they have accumulated so many unpaid tickets. How do you respond to that, and what details can you provide in terms of what you'll be taking to the minister in terms of this amnesty that you're calling for?
Well, first of all, if in the sector that I'm a part of, there's no income. Absolutely no income, and most of the tickets, 75% of the tickets received by the operators are unwarranted tickets. Tickets that there's no need for that ticket. Can you imagine a man there are 10 bus stops. There used to be about 10 bus stops on the Constant Spring Road. Since the reconstruction of that road, and on coming down, it's about 4 bus stops. Now, the police will stay at, let's say, Mayor Brown's corner and the gas station there, and look up the road and find out you're now stopping at the usual bus stops, where there's now no bus stop. And when the busman reaches to you, you're writing 5 tickets for the 5 stops he made up the road. One operator tell us on Sunday evening that he 11 tickets. One time he committed one offense, he got 11 tickets, and some tickets go back from days. You did stop up there 2 days ago. You're giving a ticket now.
What?
There's no proof to him stopping two days ago, but he got a ticket. Tickets are left with vendors to give. Tickets are left with extortionists to give to a busman. I think there are so many things, but we will be taking to, and we have sent the notes to the minister already. We will be talking very, very seriously on the issue of amnesty, where if the minister have any serious interest in the sector, he would understand that we are now employing anybody to drive our vehicles because the drivers, the true drivers who got tickets, whose ticket system the issues in court because they got the ticket wrongly. I mean, those drivers have to run because the police is after them. So we have to employ anybody. We can leave, we can pack up tomorrow morning, all of us. But what would happen to the country? Look what happened yesterday. A few buses come off the road. So we don't want this to happen. So the best thing the government can do right now is provide an amnesty for the thousands of tickets. Allow us to pay it in small tranches. Right? That's all we're saying. If you want to wipe the slate clean of all tickets, that would be good.
And over what period of time?
Well, we could determine anything between 9 months and a year. We could go with that. So we have that be 9 months to pay. I have 100,000 worth of ticket. You give me 9 months to pay. And I pay it off.
Oh, and what if persons start missing those monthly?
Well, if you miss it, you have to pay up for the next month for what you miss. And if you don't pay it, then you're in trouble with the law.
Are you expecting a positive response to that request?
Most of the meetings I attended over my 20 years in the transport sector, the response we get from most ministers and government persons, we will look into it. And that is why we are where we are. We want a definite response from government. Whether or not it can be done, it should be done. Because we hear the type of boardroom discussion all the time, over and over again. We are adamant that we need some good answers this time around. Because if we don't, then I can tell you, Richie, I will be a part of the demonstration next week if the answers are not given to the questions asked. And the solutions follow.
My concern, though, Egerton, in all honesty, even if the amnesty is granted, I mean, yesterday a taxi operator told me on air that even right there in Halfway Tree, there's no parking, and he has been ticketed just for stopping to let off passengers. Now, even if you get the amnesty, if he got the amnesty and got the 9 months that is being asked for, he would still have a problem with parking. And so it seems like the problem will persist beyond the amnesty.
You're right. We can take them one at a time. We can. They say the government, a Hackney carriage operator, supposed to have his own parking. Let's get out of the way. But if the government want to reduce the anarchy in Halfway Tree, they can help us. They can facilitate us in finding a parking facility for Hackney carriage operators. So deal with the amnesty first, then move to the parking. Because the parking is the responsibility of the operators, not the government. Right?
All right.
So address the amnesty and then help us to find a parking facilities in the Halfway Tree and downtown Kingston.
All right. We'll continue to monitor the actions and activities on the streets today. Thank you, Egerton Newman, and you have a good day, my brother.
Thank you for having me, my brother.
All right, take care. Egerton Newman, ladies and gentlemen, he's the head of the Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services, TODSS group, and we thank him for coming on and speaking to us this morning. So the Heart Institute of the Caribbean, HIC, they're hosting the 3rd annual Masters of Medicine Summit, being held for the first time since the pandemic in 2020, under the theme Medicine and Society, Creating a Resilient Healthcare System for the Caribbean in the Post-COVID Era. We understand that a group of 40 medical and other professionals from Jamaica and the Caribbean will converge at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel on September 15 to discuss the state of the region's health system and also make some recommendations on building a resilient healthcare system that can better withstand another health disaster. And there are several medical practitioners, keynote speakers who will be participating, and this is generating quite a bit of interest even from us right here on the Bridge 99 FM. And so we're pleased to be joined at this time by Dr. Dainia Baugh, who is co-founder of the Heart Institute of the Caribbean, HIC. She's a very special guest at this time. Good morning, Dr. Baugh.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Give us a brief history, if you will, Doc, of the annual Masters of Medicine Summit.
Okay. So we have been doing this summit. Actually, we've done 4, but there was a pause, basically, between one we did in 2016 and then when we restarted. So we did 3 in rapid succession, and the whole goal really is to raise the discourse about healthcare in the region, right?
Yes.
There is kind of, I wouldn't say a right way and a wrong way, but there's an approach to medicine, and that only becomes well known once because of education and because of continuous practice and passing the word along. And so we've been really focusing in on not just the population, but the physicians as well, and passing along practices from the best centers in the world over the past 5 years. So we did one where the main educator and speaker is the chairman of medicine at Johns Hopkins University of Medicine. And then we had Vanderbilt University, which is also a top 15 medical school in the U.S., who held another. And Yale and UCLA were prominent in another, and the University of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So we're always trying to have the people who are leading the pack in the world who come to help us move our practice along. And then, of course, pandemic came and we missed 2021.
Yes.
And we wanted to make sure that we didn't miss 2022 so we don't fall any further behind in growing really the state of healthcare on the island. So this is kind of where we've been.
All right. And so here we are in 2022, and you're all geared up and ready to get this going. When and where will the summit be held?
It will be at the Pegasus Hotel, and it will be on Thursday, the 14th, which is the 15th of this week. And it promises to be very exciting and very informative. And we have a totally different format this year that really is going to, I think, move us to leapfrog us, because we have a lot of work to do coming out of the pandemic.
All right, Dr. Baugh, I'm loving this year's theme. I'm loving, medicine and society, creating a resilient healthcare system for the Caribbean in the post-COVID era. Now, it seems to the point, right, in my opinion. But if you could further break down the mindset behind this theme.
Yes. All right. So, several things I think that the pandemic has revealed to us, right? We're never going to be able to plan perfectly for every eventuality. And we're planning for some things and not actively planning for others because we don't expect it to happen. And so when you look at COVID and what's happened to us, medicine and medical science kind of in our region has been slowly shifting away from infectious disease towards the real pandemic that we've been facing now for many years, which is chronic, non-communicable diseases like heart attacks and strokes and, diabetes. And so it almost is like the universe conspires to say, look here, don't forget the things. Don't forget that basic things are basic. Don't forget that foundational things are foundational. And so you can't move all of your eggs basically according to what is in style or in fashion at the time, and forget that basic medical principles should just apply all the time. And we should always have a degree of readiness.
Yes.
And so when the pandemic hit, not just Jamaica. So it's not like this, oh, woe is me, and we're so underprepared. So many developing countries were underprepared for how to utilize our limited resources, what to do next, how does the population function. First of all, what does the population even understand about medicine? How quickly are we confused by, the nonsense we're hearing on the internet, and we no longer have the ability to critically think for ourselves and that kind of thing. And so where we wanted to look again is how do we apply the training that we've had, for generations, for decades. UE has been training medical professionals since the 1940s. So we've now had 60 good years of doctors graduating from us. We've had now a lot of years where we've been registering doctors who want to come into Jamaica, who've trained elsewhere. How do we apply that knowledge in a consistent, concerted way so that when things happen, even if unexpected, we can pivot? We can turn to it and say, okay, here are the plans we laid, and it may have been for polio, but we can put it towards COVID.
Yes.
We may have laid these plans for measles, but now polio has resurfaced. Here is what we do.
Yes.
How do we prevent ourselves from getting lost in, we're anti-vaxxers, and don't forget that polio devastated us in the 50s, and don't overlook the fact that it's coming back again. Heart attacks are a thing. How do we properly treat ourselves and accept, medical science to make ourselves well?
And these are all pertinent questions, very important ones too. I note that you have a number of keynote speakers. The Honorable Dr. Christopher Tufton will be one, as well as several other individuals from the medical profession. But an important component that I've noticed, Dr. Baugh, is the fact that during this event, you will be performing well-needed medical procedures for free for patients who are on wait lists. What can you tell us about that?
Now, so you're buffing the thing, Okay, so you are fresh and hot off the press.
Yes.
So this is
let's have it.
Yes, it's a two-pronged ministry, so to speak, or mission. And the first is education, which is partly what we've been doing over the past years in Jamaica, which is we're providing service, but we're also giving it with education. And our second prong, which will not be this week, but will be coming up in a month, is the pandemic has also pushed back the availability of services. We have diverted a lot of our public resources towards controlling the spread of disease and making sure our hospitals were in some semblance of readiness. And so the waiting lists keep getting longer and longer. And part of what we are doing is we have specialists and physicians coming from Jamaica and all over the world in a month, and we are planning a huge push to all the people on the waiting lists to call into us to get us their records so that we can at least help to offset the public system to remove some of the weight from them and to see if we can't get the waiting list back to pre-COVID times.
Okay.
It's an ambitious proposal,
yes,
but we're trying.
Yeah, that sounds really good. And how can persons make contact if they'd like to participate?
They can call the Heart Institute of the Caribbean, 876-906-2105, all the way to 8. And anybody who answers can help. They can just tell them their name, their phone number, email address if they have it, and that they're calling about the waiting lists. Specifically, they can ask for a Monday, like the day of the week,
Yes.
and that gets them right to the linchpin who is going to be helping us organize a lot of this. And or you can come to us at 23 Balmoral Avenue,
Yes.
right here in the heart of Kingston, and walk with as many of your records as you can, and we will be kind of taking names and information over the next few weeks so that we can move towards definitive action on as many of these people as we can.
Really, really commendable stuff I'm hearing, and we want to wish you all the best. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but all the best with your third annual Masters of Medicine Summit coming up soon. And persons out there listening should really, sort of capitalize on this opportunity. I want to thank you so much, Dr. Dainia Baugh, and good luck to yourself and your team. All the best.
Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to spread the word.
Our pleasure. Take care.
So right now, it's just a good look right now. We have both of them in the studios. Greetings, Samory-I and Ching.
Morning, brethren.
It's a good look, man.
Hey, we have regain our composure.
Ching!
Hey, Shells.
Yes, sir.
At the first big of the style, you know.
What there?
Taller than them and so
Nah,
far
a
than
long
them.
time Ching I go by that, man. Taller than them. So far than them. A long time.
Don't miss me that time.
All right, sir. Samory-I, good to meet you, brethren.
Yeah, man, blessed love my family.
Yeah, you'd have known that we've been giving you a great deal of strength because we
Yes,
appreciate the talent.
Yeah, man, give thanks for that. You don't know.
Yeah, and the time has come for you stepping at the studio and all a reason, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Really
yeah.
sweet.
Love and Mercy, how well is that song doing, brethren? Like?
Yeah, that song is doing very well. You know, it is
Yeah.
relatively new
See.
to some ears, but you know what I'm saying. Love and Mercy. That song means a lot to me. You know what I'm saying. It's the first project I dropped from Overstand Records. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying, with Winter.
Winter James, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Same.
it's just, you know what I'm saying, the unity, the amount of work, you know, what the song says, you know, how the song speaks to you as an
Yeah.
individual, you know, just give her love and mercy even when I'm not early.
Yeah.
No one here is an angel, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, day-to-day life, we all make mistakes, but the Almighty continues to love us, and we all give thanks for that.
Yeah, man.
Straight.
Yeah, man. Definitely. I see you with Ching. I know you to be a straight up reggae
Yeah.
artist. I'm trying to figure whether or not you're trying to sort of baptize Ching in the one drop. More I know there's something to go because you know Ching,
Yeah.
I'm up on some kick up and
Yeah.
some breadfruit and
I do
energy.
that in a real life, you know.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
Ching,
this
I'm
is
a
just
bro,
a
you know.
natural bridge.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause me and Samory actually part together, you know.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
See.
So if Samory are the reggae and Ching are the dancehall,
Yeah,
and we are
like-
par,
Yeah.
you know, say it's just a natural bridge.
Duh.
Collaboration had to come.
Collaboration.
Yes, sir.
I know, so the collaboration come forth in a time when the world sees.
Yeah,
when
when
the
I
whole
think,
place
whenever I
stands
go do music again, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me just drive, go link Samory on a regular day and see him a vibe to the rhythm.
Yeah.
And say, I'm just hear him sing, say life is amazing. Samory actually sit down at him doorway, or at the gateway,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
shirt,
Yeah.
jeans foot cut off, barefoot.
Yeah.
And I sing, life is amazing. I say, yo. Like the song, and I say, yeah, I just there and meds it. And I say, yo, want to do the song here with you. More and be on this track.
Man.
Right there, so.
Yeah, that's it. So before we get into what the song is about, I have to ask a question for Samory. Enough people call you Samory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Samory-I.
It's Samory-I.
Samory-I. But if
Yeah.
you're alright if people say Samory.
And I'm saying, as long as they are the acknowledgement, acknowledge the word, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everything good.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
which is right. So the song Life is Amazing, Ching. Me see the energy when you talk about it. What is this song about? What we can look for? What people can look for when them hear Life is Amazing?
Well, to me, this song lift me up in down times.
Yeah.
So, even though we sing about it, the song sing, we talk about herbs in the song, weed in the song. You get me? I say.
Yeah.
But to me, that's more. Alright, people get good vibration from smoking herbs, right?
Right.
So, this song.
Right.
So Life is Amazing. Life is Amazing is a song that take me away. Yeah, so if you're on the highway driving to the farthest destination, Life is Amazing is a song to be listening.
Yes, sir.
If you're at your home, chilling on a regular day, Life is amazing. On a Sunday evening, Life is amazing. So every day Life is amazing for Ching. You get what I'm saying? Because I don't really worry about material things.
No, clothes.
We don't worry about certain things where maybe make people happy. Life make me happy. So waking up every day.
Yeah.
Once me have life, that make me happy. That we can achieve
Powerful,
things
powerful,
like that.
Can turn the tide with life.
Yeah, man.
Which is right.
Yeah, so this song is just more than just herbs. So
Yeah.
I don't want people just look on this song and think it's just a weed song. It's more than that. It's a song that just lift you up out of downtime. If you're sad and listen to Life is Amazing, you can. If you're lost, you can find a way out. If you're sad, you're gonna be happy. The vibe just gonna bring you with this track, you know.
Respect.
Yeah, man.
Samory-I came to my attention through work he had done with Rory Stone Love initially.
Man,
Yes.
And we started paying attention to your music. Recently, we saw where you collaborated with Winter James, Overstand Entertainment. But I think this new release, Life is Amazing, now sees you teaming up with another collaborator.
Yeah, you know, say that one here from the I this a Diggy's new Protege, yes, sorry, this a Protege label, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Indignation Collective. Yeah.
So I worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I'm saying, you know, this are the baby project, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, so this is launching this new I
yes, I
worldwide conglomerate. Okay, so this is a major step for you right now.
my family.
How is the song developing so far? Response wise, acceptance.
Life is amazing.
Yeah. It is.
Yes, sir. All the time.
Yeah,
every
man.
day.
This song I pick up everywhere.
Especially since the song is released.
Samory.
Yeah.
No, yesterday.
Yeah.
We literally, I drive and I'm a stop at the stoplight. And somebody said to me, say, yo, you see the song that we do on the Rasta, man?
Yeah.
Yo, we love this song. The Life is amazing, isn't it?
Isn't that fantastic, man? And
So
it's a recent release.
It's a recent release. And
People
the song on my iTunes, the song top, there's a top song on my iTunes, on the Shazam, top song on Shazam. You see me? And it's working in the way on my Spotify to be the top song. So this song is like that bubble like soup in a pot.
Make we hear the tune, man. DJ Ali, run it one more time. One time for us. Let's hear it. Life is amazing. It is Samory-I and Ching. Brand new music coming at you. Check it out. Yeah, man. A pure vibes, brethren. Man. Samory, you're onto something big with this. Trust me. You're onto something with this song.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So where can it be found? All digital platforms?
Yeah, man. Everywhere, man.
Life is amazing.
Life is amazing, man.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Give thanks for this, man. And it's not just about the herb, as you say. It's about life.
Yeah, man. It's about life.
It's a feel good tune this still.
Yes.
That's as simple as it go. Come from the rhythm kick off and me and say, no man. Forget the herbs, but they don't it's a good. But if them
everywhere, every day.
yeah.
I just want to recall before you leave the studio an interview I did with Ching in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
First time I was meeting him, I was doing a broadcast from a show that Bogdanovich had put on. Ching was on it.
Yeah.
And I interviewed him, and at the end of the interview, remember me talk about this on the radio? Ching said, Richie B, what's the nicest thing by your queen?
Yeah, what me say?
So me say,
What the pretty
what the prettiest thing by your queen? So me say, I smile. I mean, I think. He said, no man, Ching, man. And he pointed at his chin and him.
Yeah, man. We said to him, man, Richie B, what is the prettiest thing for your girl? And he stood there and he said, no man, I smile at the prettiest thing, man. And then say, no man, I ear, man. And he said, no man, I ching at the prettiest thing for your girl. Yeah,
you got me there, Ching. I tell you the truth. Like I say it over and over again,
When
Fred.
I go to school, I always play with words. You know?
Yeah.
When I leave school, the dance hall really bring out them things out of me still.
Yeah.
When I go to school, I play with my friend. My friend them, I run joke and I go out dating. My always are like have my pencil or my pen and I write all 4 different words and I make it sound like a one word. So when them come with that spelling now, I say, all right, spell this. Bam, 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 bam.
Good to go.
You see me?
Yeah.
And them say, yo, but that's not a word. I say, you're a joker, man. What is? And them say, no, we are going to a dictionary. They ain't not in there. Then I say, all right, I me build the word. You see me?
Yeah,
so
man.
I a create words from me I go school. It's a beautiful beginning. It's a better choice.
And look at you now, bro. I mean, lots of corporate endorsements and so on. You've really done well, and we're proud of
to the
that.
corporate.
Yes,
I'm still a corporate.
Yeah.
Still a
corporate.
Yeah.
Samory, what happens to you from here on? What else are you working on? What can you tell us? Looking forward to what?
I'm currently now. They are digging I drop an album, I think on the 23rd of this month.
What album?
Yeah, I'm gonna have a feature on it.
See, oh, okay.
Called Heavy Load, and from that, I drop my album.
Okay.
Early next year.
Seeing. So
Respect.
the work is in progress.
Yeah, but I have a single, called
Yeah, it's slipping.
Full
Still
of
remember.
Yeah, but I have a single I drop
Yeah.
soon.
Okay, all right. Just send it on.
Blood in the Streets.
The way the song
Blood in the
bad,
Streets, yeah.
I don't remember the
Me
name of the
I
song.
go make you see see the video before I move.
Okay,
Respect,
all right.
man. Respect.
Yeah, man.
Brethren, good to see that. Life is amazing. It's sounding like it has the word hit written all over it. So
Yes,
let's go and promote it and thing, and we'll do our part
Yeah,
on
man.
this
We are
side.
in
See?
that one, yeah, man.
Yes.
Life is
Yeah, man.
amazing.
Definitely, man.